Hi, everybody. It's Barbara Schwartz, CEO of AccuWeight, and welcome to our Monday night Facebook Live. I know we scheduled my father, Dr. Schwartz, for this evening, and he will be joining us. So, the great news for all of you is we do live in a multi generational home. So, it's my parents, myself, my daughter, AJ, all living under one roof. So, with all of this time at home, my dad and I are spending a lot of time together, and that means double benefit for all of you because when we're together, we're more creative at ways to share it with all of you. So, what I thought we would start with tonight is let's start with some simple recipes. We're going to do a simple recipe this evening, which most people have in their home already, but you know what's in your fridge. If you have some recipes that you'd like us to go over with you, email or text me. Send the information to us because we're happy to get online and do this with you. Let's just do it all together. What I thought we would do tonight, because also a lot of us are looking for some treats. So we want something that we can also do with our kids and our kids can share, and we don't have to feel concerned, worried, or anything else about that. So I actually made a batch of this earlier today with my daughter. So I actually, for a change, have samples in the freezer that I'll bring out to show you the after product. But I thought we'd make together some simple chocolate milk ices. Now, AJ and I, when we made it earlier, we also made vanilla milk ices, and we actually made coffee milk ices. So we've made 3 flavors. Tonight on camera, we're just going to do, while we're together, we're going to make one, which is we're going to make chocolate milk ices. And this is as simple as you can get. Now, I start with 6 ounces of milk. By the way, the recipe is at the website. I will, after the fact, I'll post a link under this Facebook post to bring you directly to it. But if you look under milk recipes, you will find it. So I just used a measuring cup and I poured 6 ounces of whole milk. I'm lactose intolerant, so this is lactose-free milk. I have at the ready, just for tasting, a little bathroom Dixie cup because I don't want to stick my spoon in something. I've got my favorite unsweetened cocoa. You'll see the recipe on the website. I made it years ago. I used the Walden Farms chocolate syrup, so you can use that as well. At some point, I'm going to order the new Naturals chocolate syrup. That's an all-natural chocolate syrup made with stevia. I'm going to try that as well. But for today, we're going to use our unsweetened cocoa. This is my Ghirardelli. You can use any zero-calorie sweetener that you like. I am using Swerve. This is erythritol, I can't pronounce it, oligosaccharides and natural flavor. Again, all natural, 0-calorie sweetener. Only other things you need at the ready. And again, you can do this by taste. I'm just using a tablespoon. And I've got my little ice pop makers ready. That's all there is. So all I did, and again, you can always adjust this to taste, is I'm getting a tablespoon of unsweetened cocoa. And, right, tablespoon of unsweetened cocoa, and I'm putting it into the milk. And I'm going to get a spoon. And with the powder, it takes a little more to mix it in. The syrup will mix right in. The powder is a little messier. You can kind of see it's powdering over. And we're just going to mix it in. You just want to mix it really well. Again, cocoa powder takes a little more effort to mix it in. If the milk is warm, it goes a little faster. But again, we're going to make ices, so I didn't bother heating the milk. So you just mix it well. And while we're doing that, it's starting to mix in. You're going to use probably 2 to 3 sweeteners adjusted to taste. When I was doing it with my daughter, we started with 2. I would have liked it that way. She liked it with 3. But I'm just going to take 2 packets of sweetener, and I'm just pouring them. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. I'm just going to pour them one at a time into here. There we go. And we're just going to mix it up. Right, so it's just stir, stir, stir until it's all mixed in. Again, if you're using the Walden Farms or any other kind of 0-calorie syrup, you're going to find it's going to just mix a little more smoothly. I didn't drive myself nuts. I figured if I got some cocoa chunks in my ices, oh, it's just going to taste good. So what I did is, this is mixed pretty decently, is all I did, just so I could taste it, took a little Dixie cup, and I know it's 7 o'clock. If you're making these with me, give yourself a break. It's okay. A sip isn't going to kill you. Just taste along so that you can make these and they're ready for you tomorrow. So I just poured a little bit in my cup. For me personally, that's spot on taste. Now, we're all human. We all have different tastes. Hi, Marlene. Welcome. And Doc Gabby, thanks for joining us this evening. For me, that's spot on. We all have different personal tastes. So if that doesn't taste right, adjust it. Add a little more cocoa, a little more sweetener, something till it tastes good for you. Now, if you want to do vanilla, I did the same thing. Instead of the cocoa, I used some vanilla extract and some sweetener. For coffee, we literally brewed a cup of coffee, added the sweetener. Actually, we did decaf because I know my mother loves coffee ice cream, so we decided to make her coffee ices. So we made decaf so she can enjoy it tonight. We used her favorite sweetener, and we put in the amount of milk that she likes in her cup of coffee. And literally, I took her coffee, poured it into an ice pop mold, and stuck it in the freezer, and she got to drink the rest of the coffee. Now, my ice pop molds are standalone. Everybody's a little different. Mine hold about 3 ounces. So I mixed directly in a measuring cup to make my life a little easier. And I'm just pouring it straight into the mold. There we go. And then pop the cover on. Again, everybody's molds are a little different. Mine are actually standalones, which is really nice. And I find that 6 ounces makes approximately 2. Because I tasted it, I didn't measure it exactly, but I got almost 2 full ice pops out of that. Probably takes 3.5 ounces. When we did it earlier, because my daughter wanted to drink some, we used 8. So all you do is now take these and pop them in the freezer. Now I'm going to step off camera a second because I'm going to grab the ones we made earlier so you can see them. And so I'm just grabbing the ones out of the freezer. I'm going to guess that they're already frozen. And see, mine has a little stand, and they're all individual. So I've got the chocolate, I've got the vanilla, and you can see color-wise, the coffee one is a little lighter. Now, you'll see in the recipe that it says to maybe spray it with Pam in advance. I didn't do that, so I'm just going to run it for a second under a little hot water. That usually loosens it right out of the mold. And let's see what we can, I'm just wiggling it out of the mold. You know, when you're doing live, you never know what's going to happen. This is always fun. Okay, there we go. The water's heating up. So let's get these out. Oh, there we go. And again, remember, I used cocoa powder, so you can see some of the cocoa, I think you can see, landed at the top and there. Chocolate milk ices. I have to tell you, seriously yummy. And it's big, and I only used 3.5 ounces of milk. So really nice treat. I'm going to keep that on the side for myself so I know which one I just licked. And I'm going to stick the rest back in the freezer, so give me a moment. Hi, Dad. My dad is here. So 1 minute, and we'll both be. Up to you. So the nice part is Dr. Schwartz, dear old dad, is here to join us. So come on in.
Hi, all. This is where I get invited.
Here you go. Did you want to sit down? Because he can walk, he can sit. He's never been good since I'm a kid. He's never good at standing all day. But like I said, this is a terrific treat. You saw how easy it was to make, and here it's a little awkward doing it on camera. I can always adjust this, Dad, so put the chair where you want. I can adjust. So, you know, we're looking for easy to make, simple treats. Again, you know, who doesn't like most people I know like chocolate, but again, I also made vanilla. I also made coffee flavors, delicious. Took 3.5 ounces of my milk again. Yours might be for it's all about the size of your ice pop mold. But so simple. Most of us have the ice pop molds already in our kitchen somewhere. So it's just a nice alternative treat. And again, this is something that guilt-free I can also let my daughter have. And as compared to buying ice pops, which are going to have all that added sugar, has protein, right? This has milk in it. So it's a great snack to also make some extras. Again, I made it with my daughter, so it was an activity, it was something to do together. And it's serving me as well as her and our whole family. So we are going to be working on creating more and more ideas or pulling out from our archives some of these things to make your time at home a time for family bonding, but also sharing the health. With that said, a couple of things, and I'm going to turn it over to my dad a little bit for more some of what we need. You may want to move a little closer to the screen. I can bring it down a level just so they can see you. There we go. I'm going to pass it over to my dad for a bit to let him actually share the wisdom of Dr. Schwartz. And at the tail end of this, we're going to wrap up with, there are many of you who temporarily, for a few days or a couple of weeks, or you might be in stabilization or maintenance, need to not be following the core AccuWeight program. And we're going to give you some tips on how to keep eating but not gaining, and let's keep the health. So on that note, I'm going to pass it to my dad, Dr. Schwartz, and I'll be back shortly.
Hi. For me, this has been an interesting 2 weeks. For me, the most wonderful thing has been connection with those people who have received the AccuPoint Finders and are using either the Paramus number 201-483-9400 or my personal cell phone 201-410-7062. And people have been calling me just to chat, to share with me what's going on in their lives, and to learn and understand that because of all those years of when I was a full-time therapist, psychologist, that I don't personally deal with things in the same way that most others do. What I've tried to point out, for example, is that when I was a full-time psychologist and a patient walked in and said, "Dr. Schwartz, I just stabbed my husband," I didn't go, "Ah!" Instead, I leaned forward and said, "You must have been really upset. Would you like to talk about it?" Now, one of the reasons I left therapy was because the emotional investment I used to make, I just couldn't make it anymore. And that's when Dr. Chu came into my life. And now I'm basically, from my perspective, doing exactly the same thing, but without the intensity. We are in situation and circumstances. And one of the wonderful things about the AccuWeight program is that if we do the program, we're cleansing, we're detoxifying, we're building our immunity, we're building our strength, and we can better impact on ourselves and our lives around us. The biggest thing that's happened is the regular interaction between myself and others. Just simply talking, by simply sharing feelings. One of the cutest comments I got was from a woman in Florida who is doing the program, and when we were talking, she said to me, "I'm so glad we're able to talk, and it's only 12 hours before I have to go to bed." She's locked in. There's nothing for her to do. And the day is very long. This kind of interaction breaks it up. We share thoughts with other people. We share our concerns and our anxiety, and how we treat ourselves is critical. One of the things I've talked about is loving yourself. I like what I have been doing with people who are on the program. I like myself being able to talk to you. And the more I talk to you and the more we share, the more comfortable we become and recognize that it feels good. Now you have to be very careful with me, because I believe that all behavior is determined. I believe that we are being tested by the universe, and how we first deal with ourselves and then our fellow human beings is what this is all about. Many of you have heard me say, "I love you." And that's true. I didn't say I am in love with you. I said I love you. And the reason I love you is because when I treat you in a manner of love, it makes me feel really good. And the better that I feel, the better my body reacts. So that's why, as Barbara said to you earlier, we're thinking about other means of doing just this and interacting. Because if we interact with each other, it's going to spread. It's going to become a virus of its own, of love, of caring, of sharing with each other. And the more we love and the more we care and the more we share with each other, the more other people love and care and share with each other. And we're doing the right thing. I started a guy a couple hours ago who hadn't been on the program in a long time. He is not actually starting for a day or two because I had to ship the materials to him with the AcuPoint Finder. But as we talked, and he asked me, he's someone who has to, by virtue of his job, interact with other people. He works for a nonprofit organization. He's making sure that kids who are not in school and cannot and come from low income situations are being fed on a regular basis with take home, and is taking care of all of that. He's very excited about starting the program. And the reason he said he's excited is because in caring and taking care of other people, he's become more happy with himself because he suddenly realized it makes him feel good, and he wants to even feel better. So we're going to give you opportunities to interact, and I'm going to share with you again 2 telephone numbers. One is 201-483-9400. That's a number that's in my house. The phone will ring, and I'll be able to talk to you. The other number is 201-410-7062. That's another of those numbers.
You don't text. Tell them you don't text.
Barbara said, I have to tell you, please understand. I have sent only 1 text in my life. I'm not yet up to speed, so I'm really from another generation. My granddaughter, Barbara's daughter, runs circles around me, and you know something? It's really okay. If you have questions, call. We're there for you. And understand, the more you interact on a positive level, the more you stay focused with AccuWeight Loss at home, the better your immune system is going to be, the better your psychology is going to become, and you will grow and learn so that when we come out on the other end, all of us will benefit from it.
Magic protocol.
Last thing. You've heard me time and time and time again talk about the magic protocol. When you hear something often, you sometimes become deaf to it. The magic protocol works 100% of the time, but only if you actually employ it. When you put the Tic Tacs in your mouth, when you say, I'm using these to substitute for the cheat that I really want, but I recognize that if I cheat, it's not going to truly satisfy me, but only for a moment. And I want to feel good, and I want to feel good about myself. The instant you take control and put the candies in your mouth, what you've done is taken control, and it's impossible to cheat. The more you do it, the more successful you'll be. The more successful you are, the easier it is to do it. The more you do it, the easier it is to do, and it begins to become a normal action on your part. I want something. You're home. You're bored. Food and comfort. I'm giving myself something. I still want that cheat, but now it's impossible for me to cheat. Don't tell me I don't want that. I sure do. Barbara will give you more information on stuff. Thank you for allowing me into your homes. And that's Barbara. I'm going to disappear.
Hi, I'm back. How you doing, guys? As always, my dad is so incredibly insightful and on top of things. So, as promised, a couple of things I just wanted to go over again. We talked last week a bit about vitamin C, and quite a few people are like, gummies, chewables, things. So, again, our family mostly, at least the adults in our family, use the liposomal vitamin C. But just so you could see, we have different ones that I've been using with my daughter. We've got Nature Made gummies, and we've got some chewables. Now, both of these have a little sugar. It's 2 grams of sugar. It's more important right now to get that vitamin C and boost your immune system. So if the only thing you can take, if you can't pop pills or vitamins are overwhelming, doing something like a chewable or a gummy, don't get one that has so much excessive sugar. Again, this is my daughter's using these. 2 grams of sugar is not going to kill her diet or make her gain weight. But right now, that immune boosting is really important. The other thing, because people had asked to see it, because I mentioned it, this is the EpiCore that I've been using. I've been using the brand's Doctor's Best. And again, I mentioned EpiCore Kids. Again, EpiCore, if you're somebody who has a candida issue, or is somebody, a woman who has frequent yeast infections, then you don't want to go in this direction. Outside of that, this is a yeast fermentate that has been shown to help boost your body's own immune system's ability to fight viruses. It's not a preventative measure, but if your immune system is stronger and can help fight a virus that you're exposed to, or help reduce the length of time that you have a virus, there's a benefit. Don't forget, right now, I hear much more people at home having colds, still fighting flus and other viruses and bugs, and don't be stubborn. I had a sinus infection. I recognized it and called the doctor, got an antibiotic, and I'm 90 times better already. Do I recommend EpiCore more than probiotics? Not more, they're different. EpiCore is a yeast fermentate, so it would be an addition. It's not an instead. It's an addition.
D3.
Also, my dad's asking me to mention D3. On a good day, we're all vitamin D deficient these days, especially with all the sunscreens. We're not outside as much. But even more so for immune boosting, at least 5,000 milligrams of vitamin D3 on a daily basis. That will also help to boost your immune system. And for many vitamins and minerals, if we're deficient in D3, we don't absorb as well the others. Now, as promised, for those of you who are taking a break from the plan, are in phase 2 or in phase 3, and maybe didn't get your one-on-one guidance as of yet, again, do reach out to us if you're in those phases. We're still doing our one-on-one phone calls and consultations. So we're still here every step of the way on your program. But there are circumstances that are leading people to need to either take a break or, again, traveling with loved ones or not in their normal home environment. So we want you to have some basic guideline. And we've talked about this before. None of this is new, but I want to reiterate it. I'm going to see if I've got a little infogram on my phone. Let's see if I can get it, if the camera can pick it up. There we go. Now, the one thing missing from this is water. So I always put water in that green box. So we're doing an upside down food pyramid. Vegetables and water, protein, and everything else. So you're going to build your diet, and this is proportion, but this is also the order that you should be consuming your food. Vegetables and water, protein, and everything else. So just keep that in mind. If that's the way that you're approaching your diet, you're going to be able to maintain. And the goal when you're not doing AccuWeight is maintenance, right? We don't want the stress eating to get us. And trust me, look, I'm a stress eater. I can tell you that last night I was like starting to walk over to the snack cabinet. We've got stuff in the house, but I don't need it late at night. And I was walking in the kitchen and absent-mindedly, I was looking for something, probably more out of boredom than anything else. And I caught myself and said, "What are you doing?" And I walked right next to it to the refrigerator and I got myself a glass of filtered water. And let me tell you, I did what my dad says. I admitted, hey, I really want that other thing. And again, I'm on maintenance. It's not a cheat, so to speak, to go and have a treat or something out of the snack cabinet. But I didn't need it. I wanted it because I was bored, a little stressed. So you know what? Number one, keeping hydrated has not become a secondary priority. It still needs to be a top priority. And hydration also builds your immune system. So don't forget that water. But again, when I hit the snack cabinet, I grabbed my water. I admitted I really wanted it, not as a cheat, but I really wanted that snack. But I wanted to keep healthy even more. And I walked away from the snack cabinet. I filled that glass of water and I just thoroughly enjoyed it. And then I felt proud of myself because I stuck to my guns and said, you know what? That inner child may really want the treat. You want your health and you want to maintain your weight even more. And so I'll say cheers. Here's to all of your health. Keep those questions coming. We've got open lines of communication. My dad shared his number. I've shared mine before, but you can call, you can text. My cell phone number is 845-553-0770. Again, that's 845-553-0770. And we look forward to connecting with you in the Facebook online community during the week and hopefully via Zoom as well. And we'll look forward to seeing you here again next Monday evening. Be well, cheers, and have a good evening. Good night.